Proverbs.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Proverbs of the Black Trauma Therapist, where you will learn wisdom and creative ways to deal with mental and social topics such as depression, trauma, grief, anxiety. Yes, and doing it in a very fun and creative way. Hello, I'm your host, Theresa White, licensed clinical mental health counselor, registered drama therapist, board certified trainer, addiction counselor, and certified clinical trauma professional. Thank you for joining this episode as we continue the conclusion of the matter with ways to end well, ending the year well. So, we've been talking, if you've been with us, for the last few episodes with regarding ways to end the year or finish strong and ending the year well. So, you can go back and listen to those episodes, but the first one was talking about um, reflect and sila, right? So just having that reflection um, and make sure that you know what took place in the year. Because if you don't repeat it, or if you don't do that, you're going to be doomed to repeat it. Our next episode, we talked about setting doable goals. In our last episode, we talked about decluttering the mind and also some of the space. So today, we're going to talk about take care and reset. So usually you would think, okay, do that first, right? Like that should be the first thing that you talk about. But I want to say, like, even with regards to today's episode, it's so, or this week's episode, it's so um interesting that I had a very hard week. Um, and what I mean by hard week is that it was a week where um you know, I wasn't feeling the best and still just kept pushing through. And I had to have one of my family members um to come and basically like tell me today, like, you take care of everybody else. I need you to take care of you. And sometimes as clinicians, we need that reminder. Have you heard the word like, self-care is a word that I think I have heard more in the last what maybe 4 or 5 years than I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Everybody's talking about self-care, self-care, self-care. And people probably really think that they do a great job of taking care of themselves, especially as clinicians. And I know we probably can do better, but I thought, okay, I'm doing a good job. I'm taking care of myself. I'm resting like I think I should be. But the best way for you to make sure that you are actually engaging in self-care is ask the people who love you, right? Like ask those who are around you to be honest with you. This is not even part of the podcast, but it's going to be it right now because I feel like it's definitely very pertinent because that's what I had to do today. And that's why I'm actually like sitting. I got my warm blanket on me. And usually I would be like sitting up and I'm sitting up, but like, sitting at a desk and doing this. I was like, no, you know what? I think I'm going to actually model what I'm telling my audience to do. And so at this moment, I am actually just got my feet propped up and I'm sitting up with my warm blanket. I like to be warm. And so actually do like to be warm. I do not like cold at all. I know we are in that season. How perfect was that? Excuse me. But in that season of the chilly weather and etc. But that doesn't mean that we can't take care and reset. And so with this way, our last um, part of our series to make sure I'm not sure what just happened, but anyway, so was sharing the last part of our four-part series where we talked about ways to finish the year strong. And so we're talking about this episode of rest and or taking care and resetting. Now, on a grading scale, I want you to think about a grading scale. If you was to give yourself a grade on how well you show up for other people, would your grade be a B, a C, D, F? What would your grade be if you really considered how often or how well you show up for everybody else, how well you take care of other people? Honestly, I think I would give myself like a B plus. I think I put a lot of people's feelings, needs ahead of my own. And sometimes that can be hard to balance when somebody tells you, okay, now, Theresa, take care of you. And you're like, okay. And you think you're doing it, thinking, I'm eating and taking a shower, um, and I'm resting. That's taking care of me. But self care or taking care of yourself can look a lot different for different people. So when we're talking about taking some time, I want to really look at like how well you take care of yourself. Like what's the grade that you would give you um if it really came to how well you show up for you. How well do you take care of you? Now, if I was honest about my grade, according to listening to my family today, and even just in the past, I would say in the past year or two, I don't think I've been doing as good as I thought I was doing. I've been doing better, but I've been, I got a couple of people fussing at me because I wasn't doing as good as I thought I was. So it's really important that during this time, I know that, with the holidays and people are cooking for people, you got, all these festivities that are going on, schedule time to rest. And yes, you have to schedule some time to rest. Because a lot of times we will say, okay, I'm gonna go to bed at this time. I'll do it later. But know that if you're doing something like an appointment or you have an event coming up, it's scheduled, right? And you tell everybody, hey, I'm going to be out and about at this time, or, if you're coming to the event is on this day and at this time. It's scheduled. You don't just say, well, hopefully I'll do it. You respect the venue, you respect whatever's going on, and you schedule. If you're going to dinner with somebody, you schedule it most of the time. If you are going to a movie, the movies are scheduled. It don't matter if you don't like the time, then you can pick a time that's more convenient for you. But generally, it's scheduled. So why don't we schedule rest? Do you know? I hope that you do, but if you don't, you're going to learn today. The fundamental root of every, and I do mean every, I don't care, it's 100% of the illnesses that are in the world, whether mental, physical, emotional, etc., is rest. If you look at what is called our medical books, where we look at the diagnostic book, every single one of the diagnoses have a component that talks about sleep or rest. I think that's interesting because why is rest a part of every single issue of illness or disorder, right? Which is again a issue, a disease, which means you are at dis-ease. Your body is in not in order, which means disease. It means your body's not at ease, or mind or whatever it may be. And so you ever had, those toddlers, and for my parents out there, and even for my aunties, you see children and they are like whining and they're kicking around. They are just not necessarily out of character, but they are just doing way more than they usually would do. They just having a hard time regulating emotion, and they are, maybe rolling on the floor, maybe they're, too rambunctious. A lot of times, the first thing that an adult or a guardian would say about them is, oh, they're tired. They need a nap. Now, what's interesting about that is majority of the time, parents are right. Guardians are right. They're correct when they are assessing what's going on with that child, because they can tell when things are off. How come we can't tell when things are off with ourselves? How come we just keep trying to push through? And especially when we talk about the end of the year, a lot of people are already in 2026. Mentally, they are like, I am done with 2025. Throw me in 2026. But that's the danger, because a lot of times when things don't go well or we don't like it, we try to hurry up and speed through it instead of learning the lesson from it. So when we talk about taking care, the main thing is really take the lesson of it, which goes back to what we've been talking about in our entire series, where we've been saying, like, do the Selah, right? Reflect on the year. Take the lessons of what took place this year. My lesson, as I think I've said it some time ago, maybe back in the fall, but even also now, as I'm recognizing I am not resting as well as I think I am. I'm not, and rest is not always easy for people. So let me say that when people talk about self-care, we'll go get a massage. We'll go to the doctor sometimes, do our yearly checkups. We will, go buy coffee, things like that. But tell us to sit down, especially for my professional women of faith, the ones that absolutely pride themselves on being doers, goers, and got to get it done. Or the yes people, like, yes, I can do it. And will shift and move things around to be able to get it done. If somebody was to say, no, I got it, sit down. That's hard. If we're honest, we say internally, and truthfully, I do believe this is the truth as well. We want somebody to tell us to sit down. Please give me a chance to sit down and have somebody else take care of it. But then when we are told, sit down and have somebody, and they will say, okay, I'll take care of it, then we're wondering if they're doing it right. Sis, we have to be able to let go of the reins. If not, we're going to lose our brains. Like the stress, and again, you're going to be that toddler rolling around on the floor, whining, and that's what you're going to look like to people around you, because you're not going to be regulated when you're stretched so thin if you don't take care. Don't just take care of everybody else, taking care of your mama, taking care of your daddy, taking care of siblings, taking care of your children, taking care of your spouse, taking care of people at work. You do the over and above when somebody calls in sick or whatever it may be. You are the one that goes above and beyond, and has always been the one that goes above and beyond. And that's great. And people have complimented you on it, maybe, maybe not. Even if they don't, you're that person. The first commandment, well, I won't say the first commandment, but the first model of rest was done by Abba God himself. And Abba means daddy, or like father. So Abba God himself rested on that seventh day. He did all his work in 6 days. And let me say, when we talk about our 4 things, and he assessed it. If you go back to Genesis and look at the story, everything he made, he said is good, which means he assessed it to see if it was what he wanted it to be. And of course, if it wasn't, he could have shifted and changed it and made it what he wanted. And then when he got to humans, or making mankind, he said, very good. And then gave instructions. Now, and then when he did all that, he said, okay, I completed the work that I wanted to do. And I was able to shift it to somebody else. Hey, I want you, man, and I'm saying man as in mankind, to rule, dominate this area. You can eat anything you want, just don't touch this one tree, right? Everything else, eat to your heart's content. There's no limit to the goodness you can enjoy here. I just don't want you to touch this one thing. And we say that he's not a good God because he gave you one limitation. Yeah, maybe we're the problem and not him. But anyway, so, and then when he delegated, you know what he did? He rested. Yes, he did, which means he was able to have a seat. He sat on the throne and was like, I did, and assessed himself. It was good. How many of us do that? Really do an assessment of your week, an assessment of your month, especially an assessment of your year. And then when you do the assessment, whether you say it was good, bad, ugly, indifferent, I want to change this, that, and the third, then you can delegate to whoever and you can have a seat. Yes, sis, have a seat. Be still. Put your feet up. As you heard me say, I'm doing with my warm blanket. Put your feet up. Watch a movie. Or just be, just be silent. Silent is wonderful. I'm learning that as I get older. Silence is wonderful, you all. So with that being said, and I will say when it comes to silence, sometimes silence is like really a problem for people. Some people don't, the same way they don't like to sit still because they start to, get worried or fidgety or I need to do something, I need to be doing something. Silence also starts to reveal where that dis-ease is. Now, I don't mean disease, I mean where you are uneasy. Silence sometimes reveals the thoughts that nobody else knows about. And that's why a lot of times people have the thoughts running in their mind when? At night when they're going to sleep. Because it's the only time that you've gotten quiet. Then your brain is like, okay, yeah, let's deal with these things. You're like, no, I'm trying to sleep. But it's like, but when are you going to deal with me? Because you keep shutting me off, taking care of everybody and everything else. That's the benefit of taking care of yourself. It gives you time to delegate even those thoughts that you've been neglecting or avoiding or that's been piling up. And you can deal with those things. And sometimes you can deal with the hard things or you can cry. I mean, whatever your rest or your take care looks like. And I will share a little bit of mine. Mine this year has included shifting when I eat and how I eat. Sometimes I didn't eat enough. So but my nutrition, like the foods that I've eaten, have drastically changed. Anybody that will see me eat now will be like, yeah, I eat way better than I used to. Now I can definitely still improve, but I definitely am more of a Mediterranean pescatarian type of diet where it's fish and foods from the earth or organic foods, natural foods, things like that, because I'm trying to take care of my health and I want to be well. The same way I'm telling everybody else to be well, I want to be well myself. And it's also included sitting a lot. Now, my job, as a drama therapist, I move and like to do movement activities, especially when I was working with youth, was always on the move. In this last couple of years, it's been like, no, you're going to have a seat. Even when I didn't want to, I want to get up and move. My body was like, no, either we're hurt, we're tired, we're hurting, which again was showing that there was an issue somewhere and it needed to be taken care of. And so it concluded I needed to sit down and let somebody else help me. That was my lesson this year as well. I had to let someone else help me. So to my working women who are very much, or even my working professionals, period, who are very much like, let me take care of everybody else, and you love it, you enjoy it, I'm going to tell you that let someone take care of you. Let someone else go grab or make breakfast. Let someone else grab dinner. Let someone else do the laundry. Whatever that may look like. You schedule some time and take a rest. And then I'm going to say, and also when you end the year strong, It's not just about productivity. That's not, we're not talking about just that. But it's also entering the new year healthy and energized. And you can't do that if you end the year burned out. Because when you start again, you're gonna have nothing. It's gonna be already fizzled out. So that's why it's important to reset or take care and reset. Now, the word reset, you think about the video game and things were going on all day or whatever levels. And I'm thinking about Mario because that's what I used to play when I was younger. And there were times I didn't like what was happening. And I would keep trying to board levels. And I'm like, okay, I kept losing and the ducks kept getting me or the fireballs or whatever, right? The little cannonball or shoot the little cannons out the thing would used to get me. I used to hate those little mean face cannons that would come at you. Anyway, I used to nostalgia, love it, right? I used to just say, you know what? When I was all said and done, I would just hit the button. I enjoy hitting reset because I knew that means I can start all over again. And it gave me this feeling of refreshment, of like everything I've done, it's okay to start new. Sometimes it's okay to, let me literally clear the board. Give me a whole white canvas or like a clear um, chalkboard or whatever. Just go back to the drawing board, as they say. It's absolutely okay to do that and then redo some things, especially as a business owner. There are some things I need to go back to the drawing board and say, let me look at while we're doing that, if that's even serving the people, serving us anymore. Some things need to be thrown out with the last year. Maybe it worked well several years ago, but now 2026 is going to call for something new. And you may be having a whole sentimental moment. Well, I don't want to get rid of that program or this issue or that activity. But guess what? Again, that's why it's important to see lie and celebrate, because when you reflect like you're supposed to, you will be able to see appropriately what needs to be thrown out. I wonder if Abba God, when he made the earth, if there were some things he was like, yeah, no, I don't want that. And threw it out, remade it, reshaped it, reformed it. I just wonder. Now, throughout the scriptures, there are other things that, shifted and changed, but it's okay to revamp. And as the book or the scripture in Habakkuk says, to write the vision and make it plain. And that can be done in the middle of, or at the beginning or the middle of a time. So resetting is giving your body a chance to really, it really means heal, is what that means. That's why I said with the video game, it was like everything became clear. Like it wiped all of the old, all the bad that had been done, all the lives I had lost. It no longer mattered once I hit reset. It didn't matter at all because it was wiped clean. That's what resetting does. So when you go and you get a spa day or even just get some good sleep, like legitimate good sleep, take you a bath with some candles, your music, and go to bed, and you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel like I can conquer the world, right? Because your body had time to redo itself. Like it had time to restore cells. It had time to restore strength. It had time to restore muscles and joints and energy that you used the day before. So imagine if you did that for your year. You can go into the next year like, I'm ready because I reset. I healed all the things. And sometimes self-care, or when we say taking care, can also mean I'm gonna let go of some things. I'm gonna let go of some people, some bitterness, some thoughts, some old mentalities. Sometimes it means letting go, which means that it can heal. Right? If I let it go, then it can heal. I have definitely been someone, transparent moment, who really like my nails. I used to bite them all the time when I was younger, but as I got older, I was like, I need to let my nails grow, and now they grow pretty long and they get pretty strong. But I do not like it when they break, And I have a nail right now that's broken. It broke. I was trying to hold on to it and it had chipped right at the corner. And so as you can see, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to glue it back on. And it was like, you know what, Theresa, let it go so that this nail is fresh and new and can grow. If you're trying to keep on something old on this that's already told you and showed you that it's no longer a good place, it's no longer healthy, it's no longer life-giving to this nail, but I'm gonna keep on trying to put it on, I'm gonna do more damage to the healthy instead of just letting it go and letting it grow. So that's your encouragement of ways. Let it go and let it grow. Somebody could put that on the shirt. But I want you to really be healthy and thriving and not just talk about self-care, not just use it as a sometimes it's a word and it sounds good for a moment and we do a really good job and maybe for a week. Taking care is just like you take care of a child. The responsibility does not end. You continue, and each stage you're learning new ways to take care. So every stage of your life, please learn new ways to take care. And at the end of this year, as it's winding up, sis, and even for my brothers, please, please, please take care. And as one person told me, be mama bear to yourself. You mama bear to everybody else, be mama bear to yourself. So take care, reset, and enjoy the rest of this year because it ain't over yet. Have a blessed and beautiful week, you all. Thank you for joining this episode of Proverbs of the Black Trauma Therapist with me, Theresa White. If you want to get in touch with us, feel free to go to our website at www.intimeccs.com, INTIME. Have a blessed time. Bye-bye.